Coming to you live from my apartment, it's Rob Has a Podcast. And now here's a guy who does not want a showmance. I am Rob Cesternino. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Rob Has a Podcast here live on a Monday night, Big Brother Canada 6. My one opportunity during the week to get to talk Big Brother Canada 6. We got a great show here tonight because with me is from the esteemed LFC, the great Melissa Deni. Melissa, how are you?
Wow, we're esteemed now. I like that.
Yes, very esteemed. And we are very excited because we have a great guest. I said on Twitter, a surprise guest. Please welcome the most recently evicted house guest from Big Brother Canada, the great Andrew Miller. Andrew, how are you?
What's going on, yo? I'm doing all right. What's going on?
Yes, Andrew, very excited to have you on. And we found out with Taryn the other day that you have been watching some of these podcasts. And so we're happy to have you here with us.
Listen, guys, before I got into Sequester, which I'm not allowed to talk about Sequester.
Well, we won't ask you about it.
Had a great time watching you guys with all the celebrity Big Brother stuff, keeping the feet, keeping everyone fed, appreciate that,
Yeah. No, I heard you asked Taryn that you wanted to know how a celebrity Big Brother ended.
Yeah, you know what? I was locked up, so I didn't know how it ended. I was watching it. I was rooting for my buddy Meta World Peace, a.k.a. Meta World Beast. But that was a bit of a weak exit as well. So,
yeah, no, he didn't want to stay in the Big Brother house. He tried to run out of the house faster than you did.
Yeah, it's true.
So we're going to talk about everything from this episode tonight, and then we're going to take your questions with Andrew here live tonight, and then we'll get into stuff from the live feeds as well later on in the show. Hashtag RHAP if you want to ask your questions, or you could post question in the chat room, and Scott St. Pierre is standing by to put them all together. And so Andrew, I guess let's start with your reaction to what you've seen so far. I mean, this is like the first time that you can watch an episode here tonight. What have you made of the TV product now that you've seen it?
You know what? It's a lovely product. It's a little different when you're living it, and I'm sure you guys know there's a bit of a difference between the live feeds and the actual show.
Sure.
The energy might be a little different. The tone might be a little different with the delivery, but it's definitely a wonderful thing to see it actually live in effect.
Are you surprised at anything you've seen on the shows? Have you watched all of them?
I watched the first episode because I wanted to see what everyone else had to do that was pretty wacky and zany.
Yes.
But I've also watched this episode as well, the most recent one. But I spent a lot more time making those decisions in the heaven and hell. Just saying, you know what I mean? I think you guys saw maybe like 10 seconds of that, and I was in there for about like 10 minutes. But that's part of the game too, right?
Sure, and you got into that a little bit with Taryn, but I guess just for anybody who didn't listen to that interview, could you talk us through a little bit about what was going through your mind when you had to decide immediately which 7 people were going to go to heaven and who was going to go to hell?
Well, I was, really they caught the reaction. Like I definitely had no clue that Maddie had handed me the goblet of fire. That definitely burned my tail. But I ended up just kind of using people or saving people that I thought I had a connection with.
Yeah.
So I reached out to Erica. Erica and I were both from Toronto. We both were kind of sporty. We both like basketball and gold teeth and shea butter. So I was like, you know what? She's super cool. I'm gonna save her. Derek came in super fresh. He had the suit. He had the hair. I was like, man, I'm not a hater. So you know what? I'm gonna reach out to Derek. Say, hey, Derek, hey, come hang out. You're in heaven. You're good. Hams, that's my dog. You know what I mean? Hams and I immediately have the same sort of sarcastic, joking energy. Mm-hmm. So we hit it off immediately. I'm not gonna do that to my buddy. You know what I mean? It was Olivia's birthday. 2 days actually. In 2 days, so I was like, you know what? She just told me her birthday is coming up. I'd be a bit of a jerk if I kind of, put her in hell for her birthday. Then with the hell decisions, Rosina was the easy one. She immediately kind of rubbed me the wrong way. She was a little loud, a little too shrieky, like really shrieky, guys, like crazy.
Yes.
So she was the first person I put in hell. Paris, she came in with the designer shoes on. She came in with like the glitter dress. I'm like, well, you know what? She looks like she lives a pretty good life. She could be in hell for a little bit, toughen up a bit,
Yeah.
Yeah. I can keep going, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, Melissa, let me know if you have any specific people that you want to ask about. But are you surprised that they didn't continue with the heaven versus hell twist? Because I thought it might have been a good idea to split up the house in that way a little bit when you have so many people in there to sort of like a real, like I kind of like the urgency of, okay, now these 6 or 7 people, now their life is on the line from the get-go this week.
No, I get it. Like, of course, I'm looking at the show and say, well, where is everyone else that got screwed by a twist? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But heaven and hell is definitely, for me, it was horrible because like 50% off the bat, the people are mad at me. You know what I mean? And it was kind of hard to kind of bounce back. And that essentially made me want to play so hard so soon because I knew Allie wasn't for me. So by keeping her and they were keeping her, it was going to affect me at the long term. And especially from a gameplay strategy, I'm more worried about Allie than I am for Rosina. You know what I mean? So, the guys weren't ready to play when I had to play because, I stuck my neck out for certain people and didn't get the same loyalty that I thought I was going to get,
It seemed like you put a lot of the girls in hell. Was part of your thinking that the guys would then like you and they're stronger and more likely to win competitions? Or was there like some reasoning behind that?
Yeah, the reason I think I ended up selecting more women for hell was wasn't like I'm not a sexist. First of all, I'm not a sexist. I'm not a homophobe. You know what I mean? But I think my thought process was I had made a stronger connection with the guys initially off the bat. Women sometimes tend to be standoffish and expect me to kind of come up to them. So I kind of, when I initially came into the house, I tried to lay low and play chill. I believe Erica was the only one that really came up to me and was chatty. I think I might have one conversation with Olivia as well that she told me it was her birthday. But everyone else was kind of initially standoffish with me at first. So it wasn't like, I was picking about the ladies. I just tried to go with my gut instinct and pull people that I had some sort of commonality with them. And it just happened so to be. But also with that being said, I threw Big Will in hell because I knew that Big Will is a really nice, sweet guy, just like myself. And if I would have threw him there, I knew I could have a conversation with him about it, and he'd forgive me a lot more than I guess some people. And even Johnny and I had a great opening conversation as well. I knew that if I could go to him later and have a conversation about it, I hope he'd forgive me and understand the situation, and he did initially.
Yeah, full disclosure, we did mention that on the podcast, just saying like, this might not look so great, although I don't think this is truly his intention, but it is a little weird that all the women are are in hell. But no, it totally makes sense. But I did want to know, why did you pick to put Maddie in hell after she had given you the glass? Like you'd think that maybe I owe her or something.
Did you really? Well, here's the thing. It's 50-50 at that point. You know what I mean? Maddie, I ended up putting her in hell because I didn't really know where she was at initially, and who knew if she saw it and passed it to me. She said she doesn't. I don't know, and it definitely kind of blew up my game early. So I wasn't super happy about being, already I'm a large black dude. I'm already in the house, kind of trying to feel myself out, and then I'm kind of cast into the spotlight early. So it kind of threw me for a loop there.
No, totally.
We didn't get to see a lot of the fallout from that. It went basically like those first 2 shows are just like so bang, 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 where you're picking the people. It's heaven and hell. We go right to the HOH competition. We don't really get to see a lot of the fallout of the next couple of days. So what was that like for you in the house? These people are basically strangers. And then half the house you picked to be that they're cool. They're immune for the week. The other half had to fight for their lives and probably blame you.
Yeah, it was kind of cold, especially because people didn't have clothes as well, right? So, a lot of these women, Maddie, I gave a shirt to because she didn't have a change of clothes. So I think that kind of won her over a little bit. Paris was mad. Paris was not happy at all. She confronted me a couple of times, and I told her, like, hey, when you go back and see it, you'll see exactly. And I'm saying the same thing. Like I saw her with the designer shoes on. She had the red bottoms on. I was like, damn, those cost a lot of money. You can, And she had the glitter dress. And even though she said that was not her personality, like I said, I didn't have a chance to really talk to her about it. So, that was my. But she was really mad. Allie was cold. I knew Allie was not pleased at all, guys. And I was like, well, at the end of the day, what am I gonna do? And that's my gut initial reaction was like, well, I know she's not really gonna forgive me. So let me try to at least put a play together to kind of keep someone like Rosina along. So.
Do you, looking back on it now, do you regret any of the decisions you made in terms of putting people in hell and putting people in heaven? Is there anyone you'd change?
You know, I would definitely change Olivia because, you know, she kind of, you know, I guess she's just a little too cool for school, but she never really kind of, you know, showed much gratitude after that. You know what I mean? She kind of like, oh, yeah, cool. And then kept it moving. And she even said at one point that she was surprised I didn't put her in there. So, you know, I was like, well, no, it's your birthday, you know, let's have a good birthday and, you know, be positive, right? So even people that I knew that weren't with me were still kind of showing signs that, you know, but I think Erica too, like, you know, I saved Erica, which was crazy. And for her to kind of, you know, and we had such great conversations kind of building upon that. So it was like we were in a really good space. So I was totally surprised when she, you know, decided to off me first in that veto competition, in the HOH competition.
Yeah. So before we get to that HOH competition, so from what we saw on the show, basically they showed us a little clip of, okay, now here's Andrew. He's pushing really hard for Rosina to stay in the house. Was that a fair depiction of how it all went down, or was it more complicated than that?
Well, it was definitely more complicated than that. You know, to get all these guys to kind of come to that room for that one shot, I believe, was impossible. And guys are a little soft sometimes, you know. So I had to like literally go room to room, grab the guys. Hey, could you meet me up in the white room for a second? So I was trying to rally the troops to that. Well, you know, I'm a sports guy, man. You know, someone's got to have that inspirational talk. So when I finally rallied all the guys and had that inspirational talk, and when I looked them dead in their face, I could tell that, man, I'm in trouble because these guys are looking down, they're looking left, they're looking right, they're looking nervous. You know, Will's sweating over there. So I definitely knew at that point I was in a tough spot.
Yeah. And then, okay, so Rosina goes home, and then you're pretty much marked for, you know, with this conversation with Erica.
Let me ask y'all a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that by me talking or insinuating to make a power move, it wasn't even a power move strategically, it was a better move to make? No? Am I right or am I wrong? Come on, guys.
Which one? To get rid of...
To get to the thought process and getting rid of getting rid of Ali over Rosina.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't think it makes a lot of sense. The fact that if you let someone like Rosina get further into the game, then it's more likely that she'll just be dragged along because people will say it's a waste of an HOH to get her out.
Yeah.
But Ali, like, is more of a threat by far.
Yeah. So by me talking about that, is it fair? Like, I felt like, you know, like, come on, guys, we're here to play. So they weren't with me, whatever. Sorry, just my thoughts.
I don't think that was like your downfall or anything like that. I don't think that you saying that Rosina should stay and Ali should go was the reason for it. I think that it's one of those things, if you're an easy person to target because there's a reason for it, because you had to put everyone into heaven and hell, and it just is simple. It's easy for people to sit there and say, well, you know, he wronged me in the beginning and he wronged these people, so let's get him out. And I think that really screwed you. I really think that if you had been able to lay low for the first few weeks and were able to, just socialize.
That was my original strategy. Like, I came in telling people that I'm just trying to blend in. I'm trying to chill out. You know what I mean? I said I would offer positivity. I would cut hair. I would cook food. I would just be like this Uncle Drew character, which I was trying to, you know, put into effect. But like at the end of the day, like, you know, that the goblet forced me. I had to play hard earlier because I knew that at the end of the day, like, I was a target. So.
Yeah, and I mean also the fact that one of your biggest allies put you on the block.
He's an idiot, that red-bearded man. No, come on.
Yes.
I see what the internet's doing to him, and I feel bad for him. But like,
no, he seems like a nice guy, but that is just the worst move. Even if you're trying to go with the house, I mean, you're the HOH, you have the power. You don't have to go with the house.
Yeah,
but you're not mad at him, right?
No, Ryan and I actually were mad cool, and it's crazy that we're still so mad cool because I told him, like, people think we're together, bro. Let's just be together. And he was, like, not giving me straight answers. And, like, I would even, like, you know, no one would commit to anything, man. No one would commit to, like, any sort of alliance with me. And it was like, damn, like, well, other than Hamza and Marin. But that was, by then, the writing was already on the wall. You know what I mean? But, no, it was definitely a struggle with the goblet, a fire. And, you know, at the end of the day, like, you know, I tried to make moves and people weren't with me. And even when I thought I got a break, like, I was so sincerely happy for Ryan. He got to see his son. We had talked about his son. We had wonderful conversations about life. I'm like, bro, this is dope. I get to hear your horrible music on your iPod about beards. You know what I mean? But, you know,
Ryan made such a bad mistake. It was just a poor move. Yeah. And, you know, he sits there and says he's a super fan, but he's never watched the feeds, so he's not. Yeah, and, you know, he just made big mistakes.
Yeah, and the thing is with the house, too, that people don't know as well is that you have so much time to scheme and plot. Mm-hmm. And you kind of just sit there and you're like, oh, well, maybe you start kind of playing different options and scenarios in your mind. Sometimes, and I know Ryan was like trying to play a sneaky, easy sort of backdoor game way too early. Just take your shots, fam. You know what I mean? But everyone's got their you know, he got played though. He got played.
Okay, well, let's talk about your other buddy Hamza, who goes on to win the HOH this week. And tonight is really, you know, we're seeing all of his thought process of the many different things that he wants to try to pull off. How do you like the way that we saw Hamza handle his HOH tonight?
You know what? I would have, if I was there, I would have told my buddy Hams, don't take all these damn meetings. What are you doing, bro? Like everyone is like really playing this game very diplomatically, and it's cool, I guess, to search for information, but you know what you're going to do by the time you get, you know what I mean? So I would tell him, you know, cut the, but he is playing more of a social game. I used to get on him, like he wasn't very social at the beginning. So he's kind of opened up now and is letting people come to him with information as well. So he's doing a pretty good job.
Yeah. It seems like the book on Hamza so far has been, and we saw it tonight in the episode, that, okay, you could play to the fact he wants to make big moves in the game. Is that a fair read on Hamza?
Oh yeah, he's you know, we had many talks when we snuggled together in the bed about, you know, making moves and like making good television and like really representing the fan. You guys know Hamza is a real fan too, you know. Mm-hmm. So Hams is definitely like, you know, well versed on all things Big Brother. So he knows that showmances are a no-go. So I'm surprised he didn't target the showmance right away, but you know, he had a lot of good times with Derek snuggling in the catacombs, so I'm sure they've kind of gotten in a better spot.
Yeah, I was surprised in the episode. I think that we saw Marin up in the room talking to him and talking through the plan, and he's talking with Marin and saying, okay, well, Olivia, that's plan A, and then plan B is the showmances. And Marin's like, the showman, plan B is the showmances?
Yeah, Marin is a real guy, you know what I mean? I've had many great conversations with Marin. He's hilarious. He's very street smart. He knows what's up. So he's trying to, you know, effectively try to change the game by just being a voice of reason. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens with that relationship. But those guys are as tight as glue. They're definitely locked in together.
Yeah. And then in terms of the nominations that he landed on, what did you think about Olivia and Jesse?
Yeah, you know, Olivia is a threat. And I get why he wants to get rid of Olivia, you know, especially if you don't talk game, you haven't had a game conversation with people. You're like, well, they could go. Jesse is his story is pretty good. I thought he was better at playing both sides. I'm surprised he got caught up in the bullseye so quick. But Ryan was doing a lot before I left to like kind of discredit Jesse, saying that he's actually a bit of a snake as well too. So yeah, no, good shots, good too. I would put the showman stuff. I put Dela up, but you know. Hams is the man, so you got the plan.
Well, can you explain to me why is Olivia a threat?
You know what? Because she's always around. She always kind of has like women and men kind of at her disposal. She's kind of a workout beast. I don't know how much you guys see on the live feed, but she's always running. She's playing pool, so she's kind of a bit more of a I don't know. It's hard to describe her gameplay, but she's always listening. She's always around. She always has a lot of people with her, and she's in really good shape. So I think she's kind of like playing a really good social game. And just, you know what? It's those type of. Why don't you think she's a threat?
Well, because from what we're seeing, she like doesn't do anything really. She doesn't talk strategy really with anybody. Nobody really seems to like her very much at all, except for Allie. And everybody kind of wants her out. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. She does not winning any competitions. She doesn't really have like a head for strategy, at least from what we can tell.
No,
I feel like she's the nobody in the game, and everybody wants to get her out, and it's just crazy to me.
I think you know what she does. I don't know if you guys catch the feed. She makes eyes all the time. Like she's always rolling her eyes or like looking at someone.
We have caught that.
Doing a snarky. Who likes snarky people? I don't like snarky people. Don't side eyeing people and snarking around. Get her out of here, man. Forget that. You know what I mean? So. I know it might not be a comp thing, but maybe she's just annoying people and just with the eyes, like it's, I don't know. You know,
because I get sorry to interrupt. I guess I could see people saying we want to get her out because we don't really get along with her and no one really cares for her or whatever.
Yeah.
But I just feel like everyone keeps saying like this girl, she's a threat. She's gonna win the game, and it's just like I'm not saying
made some good points. He's like, yeah, but no, is everyone gonna vote for her if she gets to the end? And Ham's like, well, look, you don't know.
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting dynamic with her. I think she's really just kind of she's just like, I don't know. You ever have a feeling in your gut about people being shaky or like snaky? I think she's just like, she's rubbing down Jesse one moment, she's hanging out with Veronica another moment. She's like, you know what I mean? Like, she's all over the map. And for me, I'm like, I don't trust her.
Yeah. Yeah, Hamza said about Olivia that she's a marathon runner. Was he talking about that? Is she literally a runner, or he felt like that she's somebody who can go the distance in the game?
She's ran a few like I think 5Ks and 10Ks. Apparently, she used to be a part of like a cross country running thing. So Hamza's always trying to measure up, with his sports athletic prowess. Who's more athletic or a threat in the physical comps? But no, I think her social game is definitely But hey. Things change in the Big Brother house quickly. I'll tell you from firsthand experience. Yeah. So it can really it can really change any day. I'm surprised he actually didn't pull her off and put up Derek. I knew that was a conversation they were floating around as well. I personally would have liked to see that type of game strategy, but then he'd have issues with Kayla. Kayla is really masterminding all of Derek's moves, so you got to be careful there.
Okay, yeah. So that Olivia has been talked about for a while as somebody who could potentially go up on the block, but Jesse, I think, was more of the surprise this week. Did you have any sense that you thought Jesse was somebody who could have had a target on his back?
Well, I knew Jesse was, it's funny with him. Like, I picked him to win actually when I got out of the house. I was like, oh, Jesse's in a good spot. He seems to be straddling two kind of alliances. No one will really figure him out, but he's lost a few competitions. He's not really doing the best in these comps. So, I'm sure, but sometimes it's the energy thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Jesse's kind of shaky. And like, I don't know if you guys saw, I gave Jesse a lineup as well. And Jesse was the same guy, rallying people to vote me out. So it's like, I'm sure Hamza got wind of that as well and realized that, Jesse is kind of trying to play him and no one wants to be played for a fool. So sometimes you got to take those shots when they're available.
What do you think the reason was for Hamza to go after Jesse? Was it the showman's thing? Was it a red room thing? Like, what was the biggest? Was it just that he wants chaos?
I think, Paris and Hamza are actually pretty close as well. So Paris, when he went to the bathroom there, Paris seemed to kind of not really show much of support for Hamza anyway. I mean, for Jesse anyway. So like, if you're handcuffed to this person and the person you're handcuffed doesn't even have your back, then you know what? Hey, send him to jail. send him out the house,
Throw him out. Now, who's the person that you've gotten out of the house and been sort of like had your mind blown in terms of like what they've been doing that you had no idea that they were sort of running a game that you had no idea about?
Well, I didn't know Paris and Jesse were that close. You know what I mean? There's definitely more of a romantic thing. Like, I saw that, and I might have said something to her, like, I know you and Jesse are trying to, figure something out. But I didn't know they were really like that close. I caught him one time in the white room when we went in there to change clothes. I was like, oh, okay, I see what y'all doing in there, Mm-hmm. But other than that, I didn't know they were that close. Yeah, and the whole Marin and Veronica twist, I had no idea, man. And trying to pull that out of them and to see, obviously your homegirl didn't get in the house, but maybe she would have been better for me with my game versus Veronica.
Well, what were you more excited about tonight? That you didn't have to play in the showman's game show, or that you didn't have to try and fit in one of those crates to win HOH?
Oh man, I saw all the bandages on Marin's knees. I was like, geez, him and Hazel are getting close. You know what I mean? But like, the cart looked really painful. Will's kicking and bucking in there like a caged animal. I was like, man, that's probably rough.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how it works. Like, I guess you just like crouch down and you have to like crawl around, but also stick your hands out. I like still can't figure out how it worked.
Yeah, it looked like it was a bit of a kind of go-kart low shuffle, but like rough stuff. I was like, man, and it looked like if there's those unfinished wood inside, like I'd be like worried about splinters, but Veronica, aka V Nasty, she was going hard, man.
Yeah, this was a good episode for her. They were really like building her up about how she's such a beast in the competitions. Yeah. And then I thought we were even getting like a little bit of like a mastermind edit from Veronica as well tonight.
Yeah, you know, that scene of her and Will in the tub and just kind of sitting and like, you know, and then the everyone giving the daps at the end there. I was like, you know, that was pretty good, you know, pretty good TV. Kind of showing that Veronica had a bit of, you know, a secret silent killer in her, you know.
But did she really do anything though? That, you know, her and Will are in the tub, right? And then Hamza comes in and says, "Okay, everybody, shh." And then he goes and talks. Like they didn't do anything. They just sat there and didn't make noise.
Yeah, but you know, I think even showing that, you know, Hams and Will are pretty tight, and like, yeah, she's kind of in with that sort of power trio there. You know, kind of shows okay, like there's a bit more trust going on there with Veronica. Because when Veronica came in, not many people were really feeling her, so she's kind of, you know, assimilating pretty good.
Yeah. In terms of though that I felt bad for Olivia. I felt like that she got like set up here where they brought her in. They said like, who do you want? Like, oh, I want to get the new people out of the house. Like, was that so bad?
You know, the new people. Sorry.
Oh no, you're
the new people. It was it was a play, but at the end of the day, like no one really wanted to kind of, you know, I don't know. Everyone's playing this weird sort of like follow the leader sort of game. So if everyone wants the new people out, they're going to try to get the new people out. So I don't know. I think she was the one person that stuck her neck out and made that claim, but I don't think at the end of the day it's actually going to, you know, it has no weight there.
Well, what's interesting is I'm surprised they didn't show this part when they showed the tub thing, is that Olivia ends up saying to Hamza that Maddie is her target. And then Veronica tells Maddie that. So that's why Maddie doesn't trust Olivia at all and doesn't want to keep her. So I'm surprised they didn't include that because I feel like that's been something that's been a big deal in terms of Maddie not wanting to work with Olivia or not wanting to be with her is because Olivia was going to target her.
No, Maddie and Olivia, that, you know, there's even certain dynamics that with that relationship. Like I know that there was times where I thought Maddie and Olivia were pretty tight as well. So it's funny to see kind of how you know, everyone's game is kind of blowing up right before your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I also thought that this showman's game show tonight was very unfair because then you had like three people that are like actual couples, and then poor Marin and Erica have to compete against these people, and they're not a couple.
Yeah. Also, why would Hamza pick them when that means that everybody who's sitting on the couches is not going to be a have-not? And apparently Erica and Marin are his friends, right? So why would he want them to even be in the running to be a have-not? And especially in a contest where you're trying to like know the partner and they don't even know each other.
Yeah, I don't know what was up with that selection, Hams. You know what? But you know what? Maybe you know, it's. What do you think Ham's relationship and Erica is right now? You know, Erica was definitely, you know, a force in removing me from the house. So maybe he's taking an indirect play to kind of weaken her. You know, send her down there a couple weeks, and then, you know, it's just luck of the draw. Marin had to suffer that too. But yeah, I don't know. I probably would have put someone else there, but Hams is the man. You got to do what you got to
do. Going back to Erica, and you said that she was a force in getting you out of the house, in that she did not, that she eliminated you in the game, or was it more than that?
You know what? I think I had heard rumors that she was really pushing to have me leave. Mm-hmm. And I was, you know, I really did scramble to try to flip the house near the end. I don't know if you guys saw it in the feed, but I really did scramble to try to get people to see that Hamza was more of a threat, that, you know, and Hamza is definitely a wild card. But Erica was definitely one of the people that rallied and said, no, we need to get rid of Andrew. Because, you know what, she knew that I would definitely be coming for her, and that, you know, it'd be a lot of more awkward moments between us if I was still in the house.
Can you talk us through when you had that confrontation with Erica, and then you sat down next to her and really, you know, got in her space and were staring at her? Like, what were you hoping that she would say?
You know what? First of all, the house is very small, so technically she was in my space. You know
yes.
What I mean?
Okay.
So she was in my room when I went in there to change, and then when I went downstairs, you know, she was, you know, on my couch, which I normally sit on. Just saying. Mm-hmm. But You know what? I knew that it was a genuine reaction. I was definitely not pleased with her. My mother always said, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So I just sat there and looked at her a little bit. You know what I mean? It wasn't it wasn't an intimidation thing, but I just kind of wanted her to feel how, upset I was with her during that situation.
Yeah. And then you put on your dad's sweater. Could you talk us through the did you bring the dad sweater in the house to sort of like have this other costume to turn into?
Well, you know what? First of all, it's not a dad sweater. It's a Coogee sweater. I don't know if you see my shirt right near. The late great Notorious B.I.G. He wore many sweaters. You know what I mean? So that was a hip hop moment. I planned my outfits to try to have the best possible outfits available. No, my dad's sweater, aka my Coogee sweater, or my fresh sweater, definitely, helped kind of, show people the softer side of me. It's a nice knit, a nice soft pattern, so you can snuggle up to it and feel warm and cozy.
Mm-hmm.
No, it obviously it didn't work. But definitely a fashionable look nonetheless.
As a rap fan, could you weigh in on Hamza's speech on Thursday night?
Well, first of all, I don't know if you guys know this, but Ryan was the ghostwriter for Hamza's bars.
No,
I did not know that.
Yes, Ryan and I are the hip hop OGs of the house, and everyone else is just definitely sources you should not be listening to for any hip hop information. Ryan is a very wonderful guy, and for him to work with Hamza, who's not a rapper at all, to put together some bars in tribute to myself and my organization, as well as kind of touching on a few fun moments in the house. So but if I had to rate his bars, I would give him a 2 out of 5.
Oh, that's not. I think it's a 2 out of 10.
Well, you know what? It's below average bars either way. You know what I mean? Like, everyone became a rapper in the house, and like people really, you know what, man? I have so much love for the culture. I can't be like, those bars were good. Those bars were atrocious. In Canada, you should be ashamed if you're applauding or retweeting or quoting any of these bars other than the one that he shouted out, "One more wear."
Why is there so much rapping going on?
You know what? Marin is actually an above average beatboxer. Marin's beatboxes is probably an 8 out of 10. You know what I mean? So because his beatboxing skills are so wonderful, everyone just becomes entranced with the rhythm and think that they can rap, which is not the case. So, Marin, salute to you with your beatboxing. But I told him to stop. I told him to stop with the beatboxing. I'm like, bro, don't encourage this. Don't gas these people up to think that they can rap, because they can't. Will's bars. Did you hear Will's bars? Atrocious. Come on, guys.
Yeah, I tried to skip past all that.
I had a fire freestyle off the top. I don't know if the streets saw that, but if you want to, pull up the tape on that one, my bars were authentic.
That's the one we can watch.
Yeah.
Were you mad at Marin for giving the beatbox backing to Hamza while he gave his speech to campaign against you?
No. It was I had known I was leaving for a while, so it wasn't like a disrespect thing. It wasn't a campaign. It was more of just like they wanted to give me a tribute. I feel on the way out, so I okayed them rapping. I told them I wasn't going to rap because I don't need the extra stereotype juice poured upon me. So I skipped my bars and told him, hey, if you wanted to do it, by all means. Ryan likes to rap. He wanted to give Hamza. Hamza was just going to kiss his thing and shout out Carolyn anyway. So might as well ghostwrite him a little something to give the streets some fun.
When you ran out of the house, was that something that you had premeditated, or was that just sort of like spur of the moment?
No, I knew I wasn't really about the stupidness. So I had told guys maybe days that, I'm out. I'm dipping. That's why Ryan, wanted to sit so close to me, because he wanted to get a high five on the way out. And Marin was close to me as well. I shot him a look. I gave Hamza a little bounce. And then I was out, you know what I mean? Hit Ryan with a high five on the way out, and I was gone. I heard Will say, he's a bit of a poor sport or something like that in the episode. Will, man, stop faking for the cameras, homie, bro. I had a wonderful conversation with Will in the bathroom, telling him how wonderful I thought he was, and I hope that he gets back together with his baby mama. I told him, real talk, bro. I'm not about the fake stuff. So when I heard him say, "Oh, that's a bit of a sore loser," I'm like, bro, at least we got to talk. You know, people had the ample time to come up to me and have conversations with me. I was on the couch days in a row. You know what I mean? And for those that stopped by and said hello or had a few well wishes on the way out when I was packing my stuff, I salute them. You know?
Yeah. You're in the house, 2 weeks with these people? What do you need another 2 minutes with them?
Yeah, like, I don't know. Everyone just wants to be fake on the camera and be like, oh, and it was when Rosie left, I actually realized it. People said they would cry tears for Rosie when she left. People talked about Rosie for days, saying how sorry they were. But at the end of the day,
then don't vote her out.
Yeah, look, I know. It makes, you know what I mean? Like,
I'll stay.
Rosie was cooking meals for people on Slop. She was on Slop cooking meals, asking people to taste her food, man. Mm-hmm. Rosie was there praying for the house. Rosie was such a positive influence. And Rosie's story, guys, it's amazing that she was cast on this season. So as a fan, as a storyteller, as a decent human being, it really made no sense to vote out such a sweet lady.
Yeah. Okay. I want to get questions in here as well for Andrew and about the episode as well. So hashtag RHAP. Just going back to look at these nominations that we saw from Hamza. Who do you think that he missed getting up on the block this week that you think would have been a great target?
You know what? I definitely would love to see Kayla sitting on the block. She's pretty smug. She's pretty, comfortable. Maybe her next to her little man there, pun intended.
Yes. Little man. Are you not a fan of Derek either?
No, I love Derek, but Derek, man, I tried to play with Derek numerous times, and when I pulled them all in the meeting, and I asked him specifically to shake my hand, he kind of turned into a little softy. You know what I mean? He got a little soft, and I'd look at him in his face, and we'd have such great conversations. But then he'd say, "Hey man, I just got to go check with Kayla." Mm-hmm. Hey man, I just got to go check with Kayla. Why the heck do you have to go check with Kayla, bro? Are you playing your own game, or is it, you know what I mean? So at that point, I knew that her hand was so far up his butt that it was too far gone.
Well, in the game, that what's the best feature that he said her butt, so that was very focused on that.
Kayla's bum is quite lovely. I'm not gonna.
We're not gonna weigh in on that, Andrew.
No shade.
Yeah. I like the question. Would your parents be more embarrassed, or would you be more embarrassed if you went out first in the endurance competition, or if your parents saw you fooling around on the live feeds? Melissa, what's the chance that somebody's parents would see them fooling around on the live feeds?
You know what? I will say this, having coming out the house, and as a fan, I knew the live feeds were popping, but the live feeds are people watch the live feeds. So
they watch them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing to see the fans on the live feed. So shout out to all the live feeders out there. Shout out to people on Reddit, the real hardcore fans. I'm with y'all. Salute to y'all. Shout outs to you.
Yep. But Melissa, is there any chance that somebody's parents would actually see them making out on the live feeds?
Oh yeah.
Well, you know what? People definitely take the live feeds and tweet them out too. So they could just take the juicy part, tweet that out, and then Paris' mom will see where she, what's going on with her and Jesse.
Well, what I'm saying is, if they're on, would they even show that, Melissa?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
They would definitely show that.
All right. We'll get back to the. Maybe I'll be an LFC next.
Oh gosh.
We'll see what's going.
No, you don't want to see that.
What's going on there? We'll see.
You don't want to see it.
see what's going on. If your parents, there's something wrong with them if they check out the live feeds and they don't turn it off right away.
Hopefully they would be like, please, no, I don't want to see this. But, who knows?
Yeah. Okay. It's a good question. Let me bring in some of these questions as well here. This is a question from Jimmy Boy 25. How much of Hamza's DRs were scripted? Seems like he was a bit extra. Did you notice anything different from Hamza seeing him talking to DR as opposed to the guy you knew in the house?
That's a tough one. Sometimes in these situations, it might not be as smooth as you would say it in certain ways. So, there might have been a bit of a disconnect with how Hams would normally say some things. But I whatever he did say did reflect what was going on in his mind at the time. It might have been a bit choppier than usual, but yeah, the DRs can go either way sometimes. Even my bro was like, bro, some of the DRs that you said, what was up?
Yeah. Is there anybody that you're surprised at what they're saying in the diary room as opposed to what they were saying in the house?
Oh yeah, Jesse's talking and mad greasy in the DR. Jesse, man, stop playing. Stop this. Come on, bro.
What's he saying?
He's talking about being a mastermind and being, I don't know, a couple of things he said that I was like, bro, I don't know who that guy is in the DR. But that's not the dude that I looked in his face when I asked him for, or when I was cutting his hair. I didn't see that guy.
Yeah. Okay.
It's facts, man. It's the truth, So you if anyone sees this, like, they can ask me. I'll tell them the real, man.
Okay. Stacked in Florida says, Andrew, would you have aligned with the gate crashers? Who would have been your biggest target? And if you watch any feeds, so that you know about the feeds now. You did align with Marin, right? So would you have aligned with? Have you checked out the other gate crashers in Mikey and Kirsten?
You know what? I did. Mikey and I have been chatting on Twitter. He's a funny dude. But hey, man, I was definitely happy as heck to see my brother from Wakanda, Marin, come through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, Mikey's a good dude. He seems like he's a very nice guy. So, and he has a wonderful beard as well. So maybe we could have all had a beard alliance. You know what I mean?
Beard alliance.
But Veronica is cool. But what was your girl? Kat? Was her name Kristen?
Kirsten,
yeah. More my speed, you know what I mean? More my speed. She's got good energy. She's she's got a little sass in her. I think that'd be we would definitely hit it off. So I look forward to meeting both of the people that didn't get in, finding out how their experience was, and we could have a coffee and chat.
Okay, this goes from Doom Tribe. Are you impressed with how well that Marin has situated himself in the house?
No, you know what? When Marin was hanging out with me, I'd always tell him, bro, like, don't hang out with me, man. White people are watching. We got to like divide and conquer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, he did a great job in terms of like going into certain rooms, asking questions, and just trying to blend in. You know what I mean? He's played a bit of a submissive game, which I've always told him to boss up a bit. But I think they'd rather see him just a bit more quiet and a bit more peaceful. And just kind of, a bit more chill. So he's doing a great job. Plus, he's got Hams with him right now, and he's in a great spot. So he can, be a bit more of himself, and hopefully people will like that. I'm glad to see him emerging and doing his thing.
Yeah, I'm actually really impressed with Marin. I think that he has a really good read on the house, and I think that, which is kind of surprising considering I don't really see him socializing or interacting with everybody. I mean, or at least I see him socializing with them, but not interacting with them on a strategic level. So it's cool to see that he actually has a really good read on what's going on.
Yep. Oh yeah, he's good at we call it peeping game. So we put him onto certain energies and certain people, and there was a time where no one was hanging out with Marin. So he definitely has kind of seen how these relationships change. So he's been really good at just embracing when people came to him and hanging out with people that he knows that are kind of shady, but he's playing the game, man.
Yeah, I thought he came off really well in that conversation with Hamza tonight. And whenever I ask about him, people say he's not even on the show. He's not on we don't even see him on the feeds. But it seems like that he's doing exactly what you want to be doing, right?
Oh yeah.
No, for sure. Like he's him and Hamza are good. Like they don't have to talk about it. It's I think.
But they're opposites.
What's known doesn't have to be said. So they're definitely locked in together. They're just kind of trying to like divide and conquer and see who's actually talking to who about what. So I'm sure if there's any problem, Hams will bring it to Marin, and Marin will do the same and bring it right to Hams. So it's just they're just spreading out and enjoying the life in the HOH room.
And I also think that's a good position for Marin to be in, being aligned with Hamza, because Hamza is like so out there and will be a bigger target in front of him. And Marin can kind of just sit back and be more of the strategic mind behind it. You know what I mean? So I think that that's a really good place for him.
Okay. No, 100%. Just being able to kind of, have that sort of Hamza shield, you know what I mean? Will help him out definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's take another question from the Melissa Bot. Will you send Melissa to heaven, please?
Hey.
Yeah, will you send me to heaven?
Definitely.
Okay,
Definitely.
good.
Just make sure you say hello to me and don't be all shy and timid, when you meet people, that was it. And one thing about the heaven and hell thing, Allie had her back towards me the whole time we were having a conversation. And I'm like, who has their back towards a person when you first meet them? It was just kind of like a rude kind of, gesture. So I was like, you know what? She's cute and all, but she can go to hell.
Did you and Allie warm up towards the end of your stay? I thought that there was that cool scene in the house where towards the end where you were sitting on the couch and she wanted to sit in that seat and she said, that's my, this is my seat. I see everything from this spot. And she said, well, I could sit there when you're gone.
Yeah, you know what? That whole couch positioning was a gameplay that I picked up from Bruno. Bruno was the first one to put it out there. Like, hey man, when you get into the house, you got to be in a central place. So even if you people are moving around, you can see what's going on. But Allie was. It's a shame Allie and I didn't link up sooner. She did come to me, but like at that time, I was already trying to campaign to get her out. And even if I had gone forward past this week, I definitely would not have targeted Allie. I think we had squashed our beef and we're in a good spot. But at the end of the day, like I said, Allie was a threat to my game early. Allie's a strong competitor. And it's the real player in me that's like, when these people are up on the blocks, you take your shots. I don't know what game these guys are playing, man. But like if you have a strong person on the block and you're able to kind of remove them, you get them out of here. So.
Okay. Doom Tribe, Andrew, do you regret not putting Derek in hell?
Yeah, Derek was weak, man. He was a bit of a punk. So yeah, I definitely should have threw him in there. But like I said, like with energy with the guys, like I didn't want to come off as a hater. He was a handsome dude. He had great hair. He was dressed really well, and I stand by.
I never see his hair. He wears a hat all the time.
You know what? And there's another thing. He was allowed so many hats, big brother. They took so many of my hats. Like I had like a hat that I was. Anyways, neither here nor
Why?
there.
Why'd they take your hats?
Listen, I don't know. I had actually. Well, I'll tell you why. I had 2 ski masks that I wear as kind of like hats. And I guess they didn't want me being a large black man, maybe having a ski mask, scaring people. One thing. Just my opinion. I also had a hat that said Reckless, which was also from a brand that wasn't able to get in there. But, I did have these wonderful waves that were flowing. So, at the end of the day, like I was more than happy to show off these beautiful waves. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me just,
Yes.
It's like a tsunami, It's like a tsunami.
It's beautiful. Very nice.
Then Stack wants to know, Andrew, do you wish that Maddie kept that cup for herself?
Hell yes. Yes. If she would have kept that cup, I'd be still in the house.
Yeah.
No, that cup was bad news. The cup was bad news. And like I said, I tried to chill out. I tried to blend in. And that cup made me play harder, faster than I ever as anticipated, simply because I needed to make a move that was going to keep me safe and kind of secure my numbers. So, yeah, Maddie, if you could have just kept that drink and passed me another one, it could have been a different story for your boy.
Okay, we'll do one more question and then talk about the live feeds. This is from Shara, who says, does no one know that Paris is also in law school?
Yeah, Paris has been riding a really low-key profile. Like, I think when people kind of exposed Olivia's sort of background, Paris kind of definitely was smart to not tell people what she actually went to school for. I think I might have asked, and she definitely didn't say anything about law. But, Paris is cool, and people think that she's dumb anyways, right?
People thought she's dumb. People thought that she is manipulated. Yeah.
People in the house don't know anything, guys. We know that already. So.
That we know. That we know. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to get into talking about some of the news from the live feeds here. And then Andrew, you okay if we spoil you on the live feeds?
Yeah, of course. No,
okay.
Listen, man, I'm up to date. I know what's going on.
I know. I'm teasing. So we'll get into everything going on the live feeds, of course. That if you're not into the live feeds, you definitely won't enjoy the LFC roundtable coming up on Tuesday night. That's going to be always a fan favorite. On Thursday night, that Taryn Armstrong has got a great show. Godfrey Manguiza, the lady pleaser, is going to be on with Taryn Thursday night.
Sleeping giant Godfrey.
Yeah, did you see that Godfrey put out a bounty to whoever knocks the showmances out of the house pre-jury? He's going to give $1,000.
Hey man, that's. I'm actually going to see Godfrey this week. So Godfrey, shout out to you, boy. Real dude, man. No one wants to see these lame showmances, man. Come on, stop this, Canada.
Yes. Okay. All right. So exciting stuff. And then let's go ahead and get to the spoilers.
The Office of Civil Defense has issued the following message. This is
a spoiler.
Warning.
A spoiler.
Warning means that an actual
spoiler
against this country has been detected and that protective action should be taken.
I'm gonna bite into a spoiler burger right now. Oh wait, that's chicken.
It's Wendy's.
It's a spoiler chicken sandwich. Okay. Oh boy. Can you believe there's a Wendy's in the Big Brother house, Andrew?
I love Wendy's. Shout out to Wendy's. Wendy's, please send me some free stuff, man. Chicken burgers, delicious. JBC, the Baconator. Come on, man. Who doesn't like Wendy's? Shout out to Dave and Wendy's.
Shout out to Dave.
Dave.
And to Wendy. All right. So, boy, it was a marathon live feed update this morning, Melissa, for Taryn. And he got into everything that was going on. And at that point, was the veto ceremony happen yet?
I don't believe the ceremony had happened, but the competition had happened.
Yeah, the competition had happened. Okay. Hamza had won the veto. First of all, he wasn't joking around when he said he's going to win all these competitions, Andrew.
My boy Hams is super competitive. He's in great shape. So, he's definitely a threat. I would have took him out if I had the chance, but they're not playing the game. So I like to see him run wild, run wild, Hammy.
Okay. So, Melissa, that we did not get the veto used. How close did it ultimately come down to the veto being used this week?
It seemed for the longest time that it was not going to be used. I was not thinking it was going to be used at all until early this morning, I guess, when there was a little bit of talk about it potentially being used. And it seemed like things might have been happening and there might have been some momentum, but there really wasn't. And it wasn't used, unfortunately.
And the momentum was to get Derek on the block?
Yeah, it seemed that way. It seemed like that.
And to take Olivia down?
Yeah. And so it seemed like there was something going on. And unfortunately, but I guess the big thing was that when Hamza didn't use the veto, Jesse gave a speech at the veto ceremony, and that speech did not go over well with Hamza because I guess essentially Jesse said, "You're a man of your word," like clearly you're a man of your word or something like that, because Hamza had promised him he would, first of all, not put him up, and then second of all, take him off the block. And he didn't do either of those things. And then he also brought up the fact that he had swore on Carolyn, and which is true, by the way. He did swear on Carolyn that he wasn't going to.
Jesse gets to date her now.
Right. I think that's what happens, right? Is that not what happens?
That's how you settle that.
That's the end of that. No, but it was a situation where Hamza had basically, we didn't really see it. So we don't know exactly, but it seemed as though Hamza had just openly brought up Carolyn and said, "Look, I swear on Carolyn, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take you down. You're not going home," or whatever he said. But then Hamza flipped it and started telling everybody that Jesse forced him to swear on Carolyn. So everyone already was not happy with Jesse because he forced Hamza to swear on her. And then when Jesse gives that speech bringing up Carolyn, Hamza's like, "You don't bring family members into this. Don't bring my fiance into this." And so Derek is like, "Well, you brought her into it by asking or by swearing on her. Like, that was you. That wasn't Jesse. So just because he brought her up in the speech, like, you really did swear on her. So he should be able to bring it up." But he was not happy with it. Veronica was talking to Derek, and Derek was telling Veronica that, well, it's fine, right? It's like, it's okay because he brought Carolyn up into it. And Veronica was like, "Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Of course." A second later, she goes over to Hamza and is like, "Oh my God, I can't believe what Derek's saying. He's saying that, Carolyn's fair game and da-da-da.
Fair game, whoa.
And, something like that. And so basically Hams is like, are you serious? Derek's saying that? Oh my God, I'm going to call him out. I'm going to call him out. And yeah, it turns into this whole thing when really, if you swear on something, if you bring it up yourself and you decide to swear on something, that's on you. Just because someone brings it up later, like you were the one who started it. You're the one who made it fair game. So it was this whole ordeal. And yeah, it's been a day.
Okay. It's been a lot of days.
It's been like a week. Yeah, it's been a lot of days.
Okay. All right. And then Melissa, at this hour, we're still projecting Jesse to go home.
Yes.
Oh, well, you got to love that, Andrew.
Well, you know what? I knew my boy Hams, when he was HOH, he would avenge my departure in the house. So I'm glad that he's putting Jesse up.
This is justice for Andrew.
Justice for Andrew, definitely.
Well, it's not justice for me because now I've had everybody in my draft leave every single week. So I also want to extend an apology to you, Andrew, for drafting you because I am cursed and this has happened to me every single season. In that,
who was your draft?
I swear to God, I draft people and then they go out one by one in the beginning and then one person from my draft ends up in 4th place. It is insane.
Who's left in the draft?
My draft is now Olivia, Jesse. So one of them is going home this week.
Yeah.
And Kayla and Ryan.
Oh boy.
I know. I know.
So the people that are staying, it's not looking too good.
It's not good for me. So one of those people, just FYI, just like I'm psychic right now, one of those people is going to be 4th place.
Yeah.
And everyone else is going out early. So yeah, I'm really sorry, Andrew. I did this to you.
Well, you know what? I'm not blaming you. I'm blaming the Redbeard and his boneheaded pick here. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, he's gonna have to live with that, and I'm waiting for him to kind of see the tweets from the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's saying that I need to start drafting people that are not their favorites. So that way they'll go out early and then the good people will stay. But unfortunately, I just keep drafting good people who go out early.
Okay.
Well, you know what? It's great actually, like being out and like feeling the love from Canada. Like it's been amazing, man. Like people have stopped me on the street. I was trying to get into the club and the security guard knew me and then I got right in. So it's been some wonderful experience.
Not bad, right?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
I was so upset when I heard the spoilers that you were the person having to pick the hell versus heaven thing. I was like, no, because I had such high hopes going into the season. And when I found out that you had to do that, I was like, oh God, that's going to ruin his game. This sucks.
I'm sorry. I really tried to like lay low. My whole plan was to chill out, try to win over the ladies. But then, I had to play right away. And I said, well, if I'm got to play out right away, let me try to line up my peoples. And then the people that I felt positive about, all of them were flakes. So I was done as soon as that I drank the rest of that brown stuff out the goblet, man.
Well, to be fair, I've been very confused by the strategy this season. Like, it really doesn't follow any logical Big Brother season. It's like,
Aaron's going to win.
It just doesn't make any sense. It's like someone nominates their allies, like both of their allies. Somebody nominates someone who's not, really going after them at all and doesn't really make any sense. Like it's very weird and totally unpredictable.
Yeah, it's a bit of the crapshoot. Like I just really wanted to have an HOH, guys. You know what I mean? To really make a big move, to like see my wife and just kind of have a moment. You know what I mean? And even to host a comp, like I would have killed hosting a comp. I would have loved to, you know what I mean? But that goblet was to my downfall. But you know what? I will say this: if they have me back, I would definitely do play again. So I'm putting it out there. Give your boy a second shot on the game. You know what I mean?
Put it out in the universe.
Hey.
So I want to go back to this vote this week, Melissa. In terms of, is there a chance for Jesse to get this turned around?
There's always a chance. There's always, sometimes things happen.
But it's highly unlikely.
Highly unlikely, I would say, especially after the Carolyn thing today. Just because I think Hamza is in control of a lot of these votes. Although, you know, if Jesse can get to Will, that would be probably key, I think, because I think that a lot of people are following Will and really doing what he wants. And he was really one of the big driving forces in this whole thing. I mean, it was really Johnny, because Johnny had heard that Jesse was going after him. And so Johnny was the one who was like, Hamza, you need to go after Jesse. This is a big move, da, da, da. And then Will came on board, and then Veronica came on board, and then Maddie came on board. It's like everyone started coming on board. But I think that if you could get Will to flip, that would be probably key. The one problem is that Will is super pissed off about this Carolyn comment. And he's like, I can't believe Jesse would say that. That's like, it's so rude. It's so unheard of, da, da, da. So it just doesn't seem likely, but he would be the flipper, I think.
Okay. Now, in terms of Hamza's position moving forward, Andrew, do you feel like that Hamza has set himself up well now for the next few weeks, or do you think that he could potentially be on the block next week?
Yeah, you know, depending on who gets that HOH, he could definitely be back on the block. You know what I mean? I think Dela is definitely still targeting him, even though they're playing nice. He's definitely in their radar. Ali, though I'm sure that she's kind of, you know, good with him. I know if pressed, she probably could flip-flop and put him back on the block as well. You know, if anyone sits next to Hamza, chances are Hamza's going home. But, you know, at the end of the day, like, hopefully Marin or Ryan can kind of, you know, get that W for him and help save his game. But or maybe Paris or Will as well. You know what I mean? So there's a couple. Hamza's got really good allies. Hopefully they're genuine. But I know at his root, Marin and Ryan are probably the guys that are, you know, going to save him 9 times out of 10.
Well, so then how could Olivia blow this?
You know, Olivia can blow this if she, you know, acts a little snarky and doing the eye thing or the eye roll or the, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? She's got to just keep her eyes to herself instead of like flinging them around the room when there's something funky to be said. You know, she's just got to, you know, I think she's doing a pretty good job. She found my spot on the couch. I saw a photo of her on the couch with her hat on, laying low. So maybe she just got to hang out there. And apparently Jesse is imploding, you know, as we speak. So wait for Jesse to implode and do something crazy.
Yeah, I think the only way that she could really blow it is if she says something super offensive, maybe, or, you know, ends up telling a bunch of different people that she's targeting different people and then they talk. But I don't see her doing really either of those things. Yeah. So I think that I don't think it's Jesse needs to do something in order to not go home.
Well, so there is an interesting question that's in the chat from Jord, who wants to, would Jesse going home be good for Paris's game? Do you see this as like one of these situations where if she's sort of blinded a little bit by the showmance, could removing the showmance put her on the right track?
You know, initially I thought so, but I don't know how Paris is doing on her own, because today she had a conversation with Johnny and basically spilled everything to Johnny. And I don't think that was a good idea for her to do, because she basically just said everything. And then, you know, she just seems to be tripping up and making a lot of mistakes. And I think that her game is kind of blowing up in her face. I think initially, had she not hooked up with Jesse, that would have been better for her game. But now that it's already happened, I'm a little worried for her. I feel like the reason why I'm so worried is because when she found out Jesse was going to be going on the block and probably going home, she kind of blew up at Will. Not really blew up, but more just going a little crazy in her reaction and being like, no, what are you doing? Why would we get him out? Da, da, da. And then she then had to go and apologize to Will because Will was pissed off at her. So and now Will's kind of turned off from Paris and other people are turned off from Paris. And it's not looking good for her right now. And so I think that if Jesse were to stay, then at least she has some sort of meat shield in front of her who would protect her. But, you know, I think it would have been better for her initially to not pair up with him, or at least not pair up with him in such a manner that she would be so intent on making him stay.
Andrew, do you think that Paris can redeem her game if Jessie goes out this week?
You know what? I think that Paris should have tried to hold on to Jessie a little bit more. Love is matters of the heart are very complicated in the Big Brother house.
Yes,
to be honest here,
very complicated.
But I think at the end of the day, Olivia and her are probably not going to link up and do anything. So she's probably better off trying to keep Jessie. But at this point, you got to abandon ship.
Yeah. One thing I did want to point out though is that I don't think I'm seeing like half of the people divided in one camp and half the people in another camp. And half the people are saying that Hamza is this strategic mastermind. This is an amazing week for him. And half the people are like, what are you talking about? And I'm kind of in the half that's like, what are you talking about? Because it seems to me that all Hamza cares about is making a big move for TV. And it's not necessarily a big move in the game. It's just a big move, like a big TV move. I don't really know exactly what he thinks is a big move, but a big move to me is when you completely shift the power structure of the house, where the people on the bottom are, flipped on top and they finally have power. And then the people who are in power are not in power. And I don't think that getting Jessie out is a big move this week. I think that, if he were to split up the showmance, I think that would be a bigger move. And so I'm really surprised that he's doing it this way. But it appears that Hamza is just totally susceptible to the influence of others. So anytime people this week were telling him, this is what you should do, he was like, oh yeah, this is what I should do. This is what I want to do. And then later on, he'd tell the cameras or whoever, like, this is such a great move. I planned it out the whole time. This is what I wanted. When really, like, it wasn't. You initially wanted to target different people. So, and I mean, Andrew, maybe you can be the devil's advocate here because, you and Hamza are friends and everything. But that's just the way I'm seeing it, is that Johnny convinced him to go after Jessie by playing into the fact that he wants to make a big move.
Melissa, I can't play devil's advocate with you. Like, I agree. Like, me and Hamza talked about who's running the house, and it's definitely, it's Kayla and Derek. So yeah, that to me would be a bigger move as well. But Jessie, Jessie was kind of riding the middle a little too much. So that's not quite as big a shift as you could make. But he did spend a week in the catacombs with Derek. They did share a beautiful time at Wendy's in the house. So it's, I get that why he's kind of might be willing to work with them a bit more.
You'd think then maybe he'd try and target Kayla just so that he could have Derek to himself.
Yeah, I've told him that Derek is not doing much, bro. Kayla's the brains of that operation. So I don't know. It'd be great to see him take Kayla out and keep Derek just to kind of see how Derek reacts. But like, he's not trying to have them both stay with the power of veto. You know what I mean? So I get, maybe the move is the next one, right? But take your shots when you can. That's how I'd play.
Okay. All right. Let's do a couple more questions here tonight. Tracy wants to know, which house guest's bio shocked you the most? Were you like Marin? Did you want to go read everybody's bio as soon as you got out of the house?
No, not really. Like, they could have done more for mine, personally speaking. But,
yes.
I think at the end of the day,
it got Melissa to draft you.
Jessie,
yeah. Well, I drafted from the interviews mostly.
Okay.
Oh, I killed all of those interviews, and I knew that like people are gonna be like going crazy when they see me in these interviews. Like the ET Canada one killed that, and then even the one for the web, I felt like really confident after that. But like I said, my gameplay was to lay low, and but no, Jesse's interview was surprising. He talked that he was this big kind of businessman, handling all his money, and then in the house he's a bit of a mouse. So I don't know who that dude was, but Canada, he ain't fooling me, bro.
Who is that? Who is the businessman?
Jesse.
He had the desk in his promo. He had his feet up on the desk. He was reading the Wall Street Journal. Come on, son. Come on. Stop playing, bro. Come on. When you see Jesse, tell him I said that too. Come on, fam.
He's about to be
when
laid
he
off.
comes on next week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We'll let him know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jonathan wants to know, is Paris faking a lack of support for Jesse? Melissa, is that possible? Is she acting like she doesn't care, but she really does?
Oh, definitely. I mean, she definitely wants Jesse to stay, but I think at this point she's seeing the writing on the wall, and she's recognizing that her campaigning for him so aggressively to Will really was a bad move on her part. And so she realized that she needs to take a step back and pretend like it doesn't matter and she doesn't care. And it's fine if he's going to go because they're really not that close anyway, or whatever she's trying to say. But yeah, it's not looking great for her. And at the same time, I can see why she campaigned so aggressively to get him to stay. Like, it's hard when your main ally, ends up on the block and you want to be like, whoa, 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 what are we doing? Especially because it doesn't make any sense for a lot of these people to target Jesse when he wasn't going after them. I mean, I understand Jesse's, a big, strong guy or whatever, but he's not winning competitions. He's not really doing that great. He doesn't have that many allies. I just feel like it's a little, and from her perspective and from Maddie's perspective too, as well, they were like, why are we targeting Jesse? Why is this the new plan? It just doesn't make any sense. So, but I think now Paris is recognizing that ship has sailed essentially. And she needs to start making her own moves and doing her own thing.
Not good, Paris. Okay.
Not good.
This is from Shara. Who does Andrew think are the power players in the house? Who's his winner pick? How about that? Who's your winner pick?
Oh, I gotta go with my boy Hams and the Cavs.
He's gonna win? Oh my god!
I know. I'm loyal beyond the shadow of a doubt. You know what I mean? But right now, it's got. You know what? People love Maddie. Why do people love Maddie so much? Because she's not saying anything. Maddie is the most she says the most non-committal statements ever. Like,
do you mean why do fans like Maddie, or why do people in the house like Maddie?
I know why the fans love Maddie, because Maddie is a fan herself. You know what I mean? Yeah. Great story, and I saw a clip of her being so emotional and happy to be
in the snow.
In the snow, as snowflakes gently fell from the sky. Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Stop
gorgeous
this,
shot.
Canada. Stop this.
Not since Kevin Martin kissed Peely in the rain.
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful shots.
Kevin, they're coming for you, Kevin. Hilarious. No, I get it. You know what I mean? I know why they like her, but when I was in the house, Maddie, I couldn't get a straight answer out of Maddie. I asked Maddie, is the sky blue? Well, it depends on the angle you look at the sky and she couldn't give you a straight answer. So, in this type of game, she's probably super dangerous and gonna float her butt all the way to the final. So Maddie's looking good too. But Marin's playing a great game. I'd love to see my young king Marin get there and put Edmonton on the map. Shout out Mama Aki as well. He's always shouting out his mama. I also have his girlfriend here with me. His girlfriend Hazel. Hazel's here with me, guys. Marin spends a lot of time hanging out with Hazel in the pantry, having romantic chats. But I just want to let him know that Hazel's for everyone, fam.
That's in his HOH basket. No? Yes. All right. Let's do one or two more questions. Dominic wants to know how impressive Johnny's ability to read people compared to past house guests. We've barely touched on Johnny tonight, Andrew. What's been your impression of him?
Johnny's playing the game. You know what I mean? Johnny is a fierce competitor. Johnny, that first run where he won the HOH and then he won the veto. You know what I mean? He's going hard, man. He's a very good social player. Everyone loves Johnny, so he's in a great spot. All he's got to do is just smile, sit, and have a nice little conversation staring into your eyes. You know what I mean? But he'll stab you when he needs to. That much I know for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Johnny's really doing a great job. I think that, he was able to successfully convince Hamza to go after Jesse because Jesse mentioned Johnny's name. Jesse had dropped Johnny's name as someone who he wanted to go home, and Johnny jumped right on it, and now look who's going out the door. He got Paris to spill her game to him. He's getting everyone to trust him and go to him, but not looking like a big major player of the season. And I think that I think he's definitely someone we need to look out for. I mean, think about it. He won HOH and veto that first week, which normally is like a death sentence for anybody else, but nobody cared. Yeah. And normally, like, that would, especially the first week, that when it's easy to target someone for any small reason, the only thing you have to do is, this guy's a huge threat. He just won HOH and veto. We got to get this guy out. And nobody did that. So, you know,
he's been really good at just kind of, you know, floating around and being, you know, a friend or an ear or a hug or a conversation that, you know, so he's playing a really good social game, and he's low key a comp beast. So he could definitely go far in this game.
Okay. All right. Let's do one last question here, Scott. This is from Stephanie. Rob asking me, would I watch my sons on the live feeds or keep my current relationship? Look, my kids aren't going to be on Big Brother, and I'm not going to watch the live feeds after 10 o'clock. I'll wait for Taryn to tell me what's going on in the morning.
Oh God. Yeah, he'll have to put a Rob warning on it. Like, Rob, don't listen to this. You don't want to hear it.
Yes. I don't need to know about that.
That jacuzzi after hours is so grimy, guys. Like, I don't know if it's showing up in.
How grimy is it?
That jacuzzi is so grimy.
Ew.
That, you know, it's turning like swamp green within minutes of people hopping in it. So, you know, I was warned to not go in the jacuzzi after some certain people were in it. So I'm just saying, Canada,
it's a blind item.
It looks good, but you don't want to be in there after dark. Swamp thing might come out of the jacuzzi.
Oh my God. Ugh.
Okay. I have so many more questions, but I'm not going to ask them. I will practice restraint. Andrew, so what's next for you? What are you up to?
Well, my brother and I are planning our 6th annual back to school supply drive and car show out here in Toronto for, of course, the One More Wear Foundation. So if you guys want to shoot me a like on Facebook at One More Wear, or check us out on our website at onemorewear.org. Some of the bow ties you're going to see, people, I dropped a few bow ties off inside the house. So Ryan had on a beautiful bow tie. I gave one to my buddy Mayor, and I gave one to my brother Hamza. So I'm sure those will pop up. Hamza, you know, is definitely going to wear one. And Marin is actually wearing my sweatshirt. I gave him a beautiful sweatshirt.
Oh, not the dad sweater.
Yeah, not my dad. No, the dad sweater is going on eBay. I got to cash in. You know what I mean? Right now.
Yeah, go for it.
But yeah, shout out to the guys in the house. I gave some shorts to Big Red, and Veronica even has one of my shirts as well. So it's nice to see that my freshness is still kind of living within the game.
Your spirit lives on in the house. Okay. So if you want to follow Andrew on social media, he is at BBCanHG Andrew. So what happens? They make a Twitter for you, and then you get to keep it.
Yeah, I had another Twitter, but you know, if you want to follow my Instagram as well, is at Those Miller Boys. The Instagram is unlocked. You can creep and see what we're up to. Also at One More Wear as well. So Instagram, Twitter, you know, to find me. If people want to chat to me, holler at me. I answer questions. I mean, I'm trying to, you know, I'm a fan, so I'm just enjoying the experience and, you know, and trying to connect with the community. I'll be on Reddit probably tomorrow, guys. Coming for Reddit, coming out of my lurker days. I'm coming to the streets.
Oh, nice.
Okay, what are you going to post on Reddit?
An AMA.
You know, I got some wonderful vlogs going on as well.
Vlogs.
5 things that they wouldn't let me have inside the house. I'll have that up on YouTube probably tomorrow or the next day. Just
give us a hint. What's one of them?
Well, I did mention that I had a Meta World Peace jersey that was straight fire that they wouldn't let me have inside the Big Brother house. Shout out to my boy Meta World Peace, aka Ron Artest. It's the Knicks jersey, has World Peace on the back. Super fresh. Come on, yo.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about what's coming up on Tuesday morning. Taryn is back with the live feed update. You go ahead and join him live at 10 a.m. Eastern time, 7 a.m. Pacific, and a new episode of the Taryn Show. Scott, do we know who the guest is on the Taryn Show? Or it's a mystery. It's a mystery for right now. We'll see if we can get all of that. Yeah, Scott,
you wanted me to talk, so
I don't
go
ahead.
I know who next week's guest is going to be, but I don't know.
Well, we don't know this week's guest. Melissa, do you know who it is?
I do not.
Okay, Andrew, do you want to guess?
It might be me, guys. Shout out to Taryn.
Okay. Well, we'll see. All right, so subscribe for that. Of course, the LFC Roundtable coming up on Tuesday night. What time do you guys do that? 8:30 Eastern, Melissa?
Yeah, 8:30 Eastern.
Okay, and then of course the Survivor Know-It-Alls are going to be back on Wednesday night. Andrew, you watch any Survivor?
Yeah, man, Survivor's my number one. I love Survivor. Big fan. Shout out Jeff Probst. I'm actually going to catch up on all the Ghost Island stuff so I can hop in that conversation too.
Okay.
Yeah, we did a draft for that, and I'm probably going to lose that one as well. So,
are all your people gone?
There's some hot dudes on that show. Eh?
I lost someone this week. I lost Andrew and my Survivor person this week. So that was, dark times.
Hard times.
Yeah. Okay. And then Survivor Know-It-Alls Wednesday night, 9:15 p.m. Eastern time. And then, of course, all of our Survivor coverage coming up this week. If you want to get even more in-depth of Robin's podcast, go to robinswebsite.com/patron. We have a Big Brother patron group. So many exclusive for the patrons. I don't have a jar of hazelnut for people, for a jar of Nutella.
This is Hazel. Say goodnight to everyone, Hazel. Good night.
Good night. All right. Of course, you could follow the great Melissa Deni on Twitter. She is at Melissa with 3 A's at the end. It's Melissa. Yes.
Yeah.
I think I said it very low.
I don't know.
We'll go back and check.
I'm gonna follow you, Melissa. I got it. I got you.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. All right. There you go. And of course, thanks so much to Scott St. Pierre behind the scenes. Be sure to check out Skip the Dishes. Promo code LFC gets $7 off for great food delivery in Canada, Andrew.
I'm gone. I'm getting my money, bro. $7 off. That's big money out here.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You get a Baconator, whatever you want. Skip the dishes.
Have that Canadian Baconator with that real Canadian bacon, man. Come on now.
Yeah. All right.
We got that in LA.
Yeah, we don't. All right. Have a good one, everybody. Take care.